Coming up on this special edition of the Lightning Report, we take an in-depth look at the 335th Signal Command Theater's annual training mission, Exercise Red Dragon 2014. From signal operations to defensive driving techniques to the gas chamber, chemical and signal soldiers stay ready to fight through Red Dragon training. We'll take a look at these stories and more coming up on this special edition of the Lightning Report, Red Dragon 14.
Hello, and welcome to this special edition of the Lightning Report, Red Dragon 14. Reporting for the 335th Signal Command Theater in Fort McCoy, Wisconsin, I'm Army Sergeant Joy Doolin. Thanks for joining us. Annual Exercise Red Dragon is a U.S. Army Reserve-directed chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear, or CBRN exercise that trains, tests, and evaluates Army Reserve CBRN units and their soldiers. Army Sergeant Steve Clark starts us off, showing us how CBRN soldiers from 2 different countries converged on Fort McCoy to kick off Red Dragon 14 by working together to get the critical training they need.
Good morning, how are you, Sergeant? Good to see you.
Red Dragon 2014 has commenced at Fort McCoy, Wisconsin. The Red Dragon exercise is used to develop, train, and assess the capabilities of chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear units, or commonly known as CBRN units. Along with the U.S. reservists, Canadian Army soldiers are participating in the training to enhance their defense against weapons of mass destruction. The training is especially important to younger soldiers.
It's been really fun. I'm enjoying it. It's a good experience, and I'm looking forward to having more experiences like this wherever I go. I love the trainings. I want more.
The joint force aspect of the training adds an essential dynamic.
They would get the experience of working with a foreign army, which is important because whenever we go overseas, we never go alone. We always have partners, NATO partners, and that would be the U.S. is one of those big partners we would travel with and have to go to war with if necessary.
Roger, why don't you take us around?
Colonel Charles Jones of the 415th CBRN Brigade took time out to observe the soldiers and provide a source of encouragement.
We thank you. Thank you to our soldiers for being here, for participating and wanting to be the best that you can be. It's very challenging. We understand that. We understand it takes you away from your home. We understand that it takes you away from your family. And that is not something we overlook as a leadership out here. We appreciate what the soldiers bring. These soldiers are volunteers. We understand that they have a life other than the Army. But it's a great appreciation, and that's something we like to convey.
Reporting from Fort McCoy, Wisconsin for the 300th MPAD, I'm Army Sergeant Steve Clark.
Making it happen, getting it done.
A familiar part of CBRN training is something every soldier is familiar with, the gas chamber. Army Lieutenant Patrick Kozowski and Specialist Hendrix Houtman take us through the Red Dragon 14 chamber alongside soldiers from the 453rd Chemical Battalion.
This is that perfect opportunity to get the soldiers out, get them actively engaged and genuinely interesting and different training than what they're accustomed to. But at the same time, it does accomplish our warrior tasks. You know, the soldiers are in there able to accomplish, a specific task, and they did it, very clearly and very quickly and efficiently. When it comes time for NBC threats down the road, they know what the proper procedures are.
Go right, to your right, go to your right, go to your right.
We had them take their masks off, breathe in some of the CS so they got used to it. We had them practice clearing and sealing the mask. We also had to make sure that they were able to effectively use their mask, don it, and do some PT as well. We had some high-speed soldiers, including one of the company commanders, do some push-ups inside.
Though Red Dragon is mainly a CBRN exercise, that's definitely not the only training that takes place. There are numerous vehicle operators courses that teach soldiers how to react behind the wheel. Army Sergeant Marcus Jones hits the road and shows us what it takes to be a defensive driver.
Ready? Go. Today we're out here participating in the EVOC course. EVOC is the Emergency Vehicles Operating Course. This is just going to be defensive driving techniques, how to steer out of curves, how to steer out of skids, how to maintain your speed and apex, enter the apex of curves. Basically defensive driving techniques so that as MPs, when we're in pursuit and when we're conducting our law and order mission, we need to know how to get to the site efficiently, effectively, fast, and safely.
Outer edge, outer edge. Now come inner. Good job.
When you're in pursuit, or when you're pursuing vehicles, you have to be defensive, but you also have to be aggressive as well. So it's not just being defensive, it's aggressive driving in a controlled manner. Of course, for me, I mean, it's a rush. You definitely, adrenaline is pumping. It's a fast-paced course. You're getting through, you're worried about not crashing, not falling off course, but it's definitely a rush, definitely fun.
Now accelerate, get ready for your stop.
Okay, go.
Of course, roads aren't always paved, and driving a military vehicle, like a Humvee, can be a bit trickier. It was Specialist Winston Middleton's job at Red Dragon 14 to show soldiers how to drive and ride on rough terrain.
Inside the vehicle, seat belts are on, engine started, lights are on, put it in neutral, then you're going to go ahead and shift it to the low, bring it all the way back, take your brake off, put it in drive, you can roll. Make sure 2 points of contact on the steering wheel.
If you've never ridden in a 4x4, it's an experience because you got a lot going on. I mean, not only as a driver, you have a lot of bumps, and you got to really have a hold on that steering wheel, because if not, you let go or stick your arms out, something like that, it can be real dangerous. We had TC and all them. You see some of them trying to hold the ceiling because you can come out your seat. You try and go have control of the vehicle as much as you can, going over the bumps, but sometimes you don't have that choice. Making sure you follow all safety precautions, as far as wearing your Kevlar, your seat belts, be safe in these vehicles. Safety, safety, safety. Be safe out here when you're doing this training or anything like that. You want to make sure you're paying attention to what's going on, because riding these vehicles or just getting around periods can be dangerous.
Ready to do it again. Ready to do it again. Ready to do it again.
And let's not forget about signal soldiers. Members of the Ready Lightning team make all this training possible through months of logistical planning and flawless communication setup. Army Sergeant Katie Summerhill shows us just how Red Dragon 14 comes together.
While every soldier looks forward to getting out in the field and doing down and dirty training, there has to be someone making sure that training can happen. At Red Dragon 14, the 335th Signal Command Theater was that someone. The 335th provided logistical oversight and support to the soldiers completing their annual training at Red Dragon, and if you ask the Signal guys, they made all the training possible.
We are the backbone of this whole operation, if you ask me. Without things that we do and our intellect and our input, none of this would be working out.
And it is true that the only way to keep the training mission flowing smoothly is to have a strong logistics team from top to bottom. A good thing about joint training operations like Red Dragon is that not only do those soldiers get to showcase their skills, they also get the chance to get recognized for their efforts.
It makes me feel really good, especially when we get the pat on the back that we deserve and everyone's congratulating you and telling you how great of a job you're doing, and not just people in our unit, but other people outside of our unit congratulating us as a team and telling us how great we're doing.
Along with the logistical support from the 335th, there was also communication support. With 3 satellite dish sites and 2 networks, an external and internal, the signal troops were busy. When a storm rolled through and knocked out the external system, due to the excellent work of those soldiers, communications never went down. While some soldiers would see the down network as a negative, these did not.
We actually get to turn on the equipment and play with it and actually train. And another thing that goes along with the training is only when stuff is broken is when you actually train and learn how to fix it.
For an NCO, annual training isn't just about getting hands-on training for themselves, It's about training their soldiers and getting them to progress in their capabilities. For some, when they see that growth, it is more than just an ordinary success.
It's rewarding. It's almost like watching my children grow and then take on my habits, or their own habits, but
Due to the high level of performance of the 335th soldiers, Red Dragon 14 was mission ready with communications, and more than 1,000 soldiers will return home from annual training more proficient in their skill set. From Red Dragon 14 at Fort McCoy, Wisconsin, I'm Sergeant Katie Summerhill.
Signal troops also brushed up on basic soldiering skills to make the most of Red Dragon 14. Coming up, medics mend troops at the aid station and chemical soldiers hit the lanes. Stay tuned for more of this special edition lightning report, Red Dragon 14, right after this.
It's long been said that the revolutions in communications and information technology have given birth to a virtual world. So cyberspace is real. So are the risks that come with it. It's the great irony of our information age. The very technologies that empower us to create and to build also empower those who would disrupt and destroy.
Welcome back to this special edition of the Lightning Report, Red Dragon 14. Soldiers from many different occupational specialties head to Fort McCoy to not only support the troops' training during Red Dragon, but also spend a couple of weeks perfecting their own craft. Army Captain Renee Senther tells us about the Red Dragon aid station where medics were hard at work.
We're here as support of Red Dragon. So we have 68 whiskeys, they're medics here, and they are supporting us, the nurses and the doctors, in the actual aid station. And so anybody who's injured, has an issue, whether it's during the operation or off the operation, at the cantonment, whatnot, they come here and we're taking care of them. Anything above simple care goes to the TMC where we do the x-rays and so forth, lab work.
Well, shortly before I came out here, I cut my finger and got some stitches, so I had to come in and have that looked at and have the stitches pulled out.
Yeah, he had a laceration, and so that's something simple that we can treat here at the FOB.
Persistent one there. I needed to get that looked at and had my sutures removed, and I wasn't sure if they were going to be set up to handle all that or if I need to go into a hospital. But they had everything they needed with the suture removal kit and everything they needed to take care of me.
Clean it, put a bandage on it?
No, I mean, this has just been a really good operation. It's been well run. I've been really impressed with the medics. We do a lot of teaching with them, and they're just sponges. And so, and I've been amazed at the teamwork. It's really run very well. This is probably one of the best ATs I've been on.
From recon to decon to training in tunnels, chemical units seem to do it all. Army Sergeant Steve Clark has more.
Thanks, Sergeant Doolin. That's right. Chemical troops take part in a wide variety of training during Red Dragon, and I've been hitting all the hot spots to give you a glimpse of this high-speed training and what it means to the soldiers involved. Red Dragon has breathed life into soldiers. Red Dragon is a training exercise designed to assess the capabilities and prepare chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear units, or CBRN units, for defense against CBRN agents and weapons of mass destruction.
It's a great learning experience. I think it provides a lot of opportunity for growth in a very short amount of time. On top of that, it can be fun. It is what you make of it, but I think it's something that everybody should experience time and time again. It's a great training opportunity.
The training revolves around two major aspects of the CBRN mission, which is detecting and identifying agents, as well as treating and removing harmful agents. The lifelike props and detailed scenarios produce a very realistic environment for the battle drills.
Well, here in Wisconsin, I've never been to Wisconsin before, and this is my first AT since I just came out of basic and AIT. So it's different. It's weird. It feels like I'm not even in the United States anymore, but it's a pretty cool experience.
The exercise is level 1 of a 3-tier training series.
Well, being in the military provides you with a lot of experience. Exercises like these, Red Dragon, even the CSTX, the WarX, Maple Resolve, other exercises we run, it's imperative that we get our soldiers to those exercises to prepare them for real-world activities.
The exercise also provides soldiers with knowledge and experience of working with local and foreign allies.
This is going to be an interesting day.
It's not every day you get to go to the field and practice field craft and work as a coherent team, you know, and come together and do collective training. It's nice to see that.
Organizers have deemed the event to be a success and have already started preparing for next year's event. Reporting from Fort McCoy, Wisconsin for the 300th MPAD, I'm Army Sergeant Steve Clark.
Red Dragon 14 also focuses on basic soldiering skills. Army Sergeant Daniel Bulla shows us a land navigation course that gets soldiers away from the GPS and in front of a compass.
Today we're going to do a compass course. We're going to send our soldiers out on 3 lanes. They're plotting their points right now and getting their route together so they can go out and navigate the course. To get the familiarization, you know, the basic soldiering skills that they learn in basic training to carry on over into their careers. That way they can teach their individuals and their soldiers later on down the road.
A pace count is every 300 meters, it's every 100 meters, but it's 300, so whatever you get, you divide that by 3. And mine was originally 412, so I divided that by 3, which equaled 137, and that's 137 to every 100 meters.
I've got them working in teams of 3, so that way we have a strong and a not so strong working together so they can teach and mentor those other soldiers. That way those soldiers get a basic understanding of how to complete a compass course.
Finally, we've seen how important safety is at Exercise Red Dragon, but security is also a major focus. And it's one soldier's job to not only provide that security, but also a smile. Army Sergeant Katie Summerhill has more.
As soldiers come onto Forward Operating Base Liberty at Fort McCoy, Wisconsin, they show their ID and get a smile. With Specialist Roderick Vickers manning the gate, troops participating in Red Dragon had quality security with a touch of fun sass. While it might appear that Vickers sees the duty as fun and games,
This is Gate 1, requesting air support, I think.
He actually takes it quite seriously and considers security a top priority.
Well, most people are the safety, but security, if you have security, then you're safe. So,
Though this was just a training exercise, Vickers fully examined each ID card presented to him and kept his standards high the whole time. While slacking off would be easy, he knows that training is preparation for the real thing.
Well, perfect practice makes perfect, so we have to train as if we're in the real situation all the time because you never know, we can get that call and we can be gone.
But while striving to meet perfection, Vickers keeps a smile and a lighthearted demeanor. It's easy to get wrapped up in the summer heat and lose that positive attitude. Vickers doesn't just see himself as the first line of defense, but also the first line of morale.
We have to keep the cohesion amongst the soldiers and stuff because we're all away from home, and you know, it gets hard being away from home, and it's hard out here in the heat also, training.
So whether you're entering the fob Vickers is guarding or the motor pool he is working in, you can expect a smile, probably a joke, and the highest of standards. From Red Dragon 14 at Fort McCoy, Wisconsin, I'm Sergeant Katie Summerhill.
And that's going to do it for this special edition of the Lightning Report, Red Dragon 14. You can see all these stories and more, as well as news and information from around the 335th Signal Command Theater by checking out our Facebook page. From Fort McCoy, Wisconsin, I'm Army Sergeant Joy Doolin. Thanks for joining us.